Today we have had to spend little more time than normal to get to the stage where we could really worship the Guru. When we worship our Guru, we have to know actually we are trying to awaken the Guru principle within ourselves. It's not only that you are here to worship your Guru. You may worship many a times. Maybe the vibrations would flow. Maybe that you might get filled with that and you feel elevated, nourished. But this nourishment has to be retained within ourselves. So always remember, then whenever you are worshipping any principle outside, you are trying to worship your own principle within yourself. Within us, as you know, in all of us, there lies the principle of Guru. It's very interesting to notice the Guru principle being drawn beautifully round the Nabhi chakra. You never see any chakras connected with the Guru principle. You see Nabhi and around is the Bhavasagara. So this Bhavasagara, which is the ocean of illusion, cannot be the Guru. So there are hidden chakras within this Bhavasagara, within us, which are to be awakened and to be brought to light, to be manifested. As you can see that the limits of this principle are done by the movement of the Swadhisthana chakra. Swadhisthana is the chakra which gives you first and foremost thing is the creativity. A person who is a Guru has to be creative by nature. If you are not a creative person, you cannot become a Guru. For example, you are faced with disciples with whom you have to converse. You have to create a word of divine magic to impress on the disciples or the people who are attracted towards you as Gurus, to show that you have much more divine magic than them. If you are a very mundane type of a person, very ordinary, cannot create a beautiful couplet or a beautiful sentence or a humor or a joke or a beautiful painting or a beautiful tapestry or a beautiful house. If you lack in creativity, you will lack in your Guru principle. Because a Guru has to create out of ordinary people something extraordinary. He should be able to create a new personality out of an old personality which is decaying. So the first principle you have to understand within yourself that you should be able to create a new personality in a person. So, how do we do it? Of course, you have got powers to raise the Kundalini. You have got powers to cure people. You have got powers to talk big or talk small. Despite all that, if you cannot create a new personality out of the persons with whom you are dealing, then you are not a Guru. And the new personality has to be a special personality of very unique combination of compassion and dynamism. So it is important that in your creativity you have to use the energy of compassion. You can only mold people through compassion and never through anger, never through suppression, never through showing off your powers of Gurudom. Unless and until you handle the situation and the personality very carefully, showing all the respect, showing all the concern and all the love for the person whom you are giving realization, just showing off that you are a great Guru, it will only create a kind of a fear about you. And after some time, people would not like to see your faces. So the most important thing about Guru principle is that you have to create. Many people get realization, all right? They get realization, then they stay in some ashrams maybe. They come to pujas, they listen to music, they may dance, they laugh, they are collective, but still their Guru principle is not awakened unless and until they have created many, many more Sahajogis. So the vision of a guru should be, how many Sahajogis I am going to create? How am I going to use this creativity to create more Sahajogis? No Sahajogi Guru is going to take any money, nor anybody is going to bow to them, nor they are going to take any kind of special attention. In the sense, in one place, we had an ashram where the Guru and the Guruvi became very important, and the Guruvi wanted her tea to be sent on her bed with a proper table, and she became a mini Mataji or a greater Mataji, because I don't demand many things which she demanded. I never demand anything. Whatever you do is very great for me. And this is how they felt they were great gurus, by asking for this privilege and that privilege. Guru has to suffer the most. That's how he can command. He has to be the example of austerity and of detachment. That's how he is going to get respect. In Sahajoga, nobody is going to respect anybody because that Guru has made so much money out of Sahajogis. But the attention on money itself of Sahajogis itself is suggestive that they are not Sahajogis. For example, when you wanted to collect money, I never asked for a house or anything. The idea came from some Sahajogis, there should be a house for me. Who can house me? Just think of it. Is it possible? Is it possible to house me? Not possible. So with a purpose and with my name, we could have something done in the heart of the universe, where everybody is sleeping practically. We had to do something dynamic there. And I heard that some stupid people started arguing on that. That's again the sign of not understanding. If Mother has said yes, she would not do it for no reason. So the power of understanding only comes when we become the power of cosmic consciousness. Because cosmic consciousness understands each and everything. Sitting down here, you can understand everything, you don't have to go there. Everything. And because your mother is a Mahamaya, it may not show, but it will expose one day. So you have to depend on that part of Sahajoga, that it is a Mahamaya's job. So we should not get disturbed or upset. It will show. So you are doubly blessed. First of all, you got your realization, which they say is the hardest thing to get. You have overcome the gravity. And secondly, your mother is the mother of all the Adi Gurus. She is the one who taught all the Adi Gurus. She created the Adi Gurus, and she'll create out of you the Adi Gurus. But the quality has to be of gold. The Guru has to himself accept all the challenges, everything, to go through it, to work it out, to cleanse himself, to see for himself how far he has reached. He has not just to depend on some certificates of few people. It's not artificiality. It is not falsehood. It is reality. And when you come to reality, you must know that you have to be satisfied about yourself. Then comes the confidence. That's how the authority comes in. That you are sure of yourself that whatever you are doing is the reality. Reality and nothing else. And this power is within you. The Kundalini is within you. She is your own mother. All your life you have wasted in doing all kinds of things. People have gone into lots of penances, doing anti-culture great jobs of ruining themselves and destroying themselves. What did they get? Then they started another sort. They are busy now with another trip. And they'll be busy tomorrow with another trip. But whatever they do stupid, they do it so seriously. That's the most surprising thing is. Into all the details, Nothing should be missing. The complete stupidity must be achieved with full sincerity. That surprises me the most. And then what confidence? If you ask me, why did you do it? He said, what's wrong? You are amazed. There should be a new word rather than bumptiousness for this kind of thing. That you cut your nose, and when the doctor asks you, why did you cut it, it's what's wrong? I've done it well, better than you could do. This is how human nature is. That's stupid. But when it comes to reality, how are you? Devastatingly, we work out our destruction, our construction, and our ascent. Do we do it that assiduously, with that caution, with that care, with that detailed understanding? And the best part of it, that when you are doing it, you get joyous, immediately rewarded. For example, doing all this, you must have all enjoyed, no doubt. Anything that you do in the name of God is immediately rewarded. The subtlest of subtle in the form of joy, and grossest of grossest in the form of all kinds of things. So why not do it something with complete understanding, meticulously, carefully? Why not? With full attention and concentration. Because the reward is joy. Ultimately, what do we seek is nothing but joy. Nabhi chakra, as you know, you get it from your mother to begin with. So a guru has to be the mother. He must have the qualities of the mother, not the modern mothers, but in the real sense of the word. That a guru has to love her children and has to have strength and courage to correct her children. And the earnest desire should be to put the children onto proper lines, to guide them and to help them to rise. So the first nourishment comes to us even when we are in the womb of the mother, through the mother. And so you are the mother, though you may be a man or a woman, but in quality you are the mother. And whatever you think or whatever you do has an effect on the child. The way you behave, the way you talk, the way you live, everything has a bearing on the development of the child. In the same way, when supposing a Sahaja-yogi who is trying to give realization is a hypocritical person, if he is the wrong type of a person, if he does not respect his own guru, the children behave the same manner. And they take wrong things much faster. They see to wrong things first. So you have to be perfect in your behavior towards your own guru. You have to respect your own guru in a full way. Complete surrender to your own guru is important. Then they will see how you have treated your own guru, and that is how they will treat you. If you don't treat your guru with that respect, with that understanding, with that surrendering, then don't expect your children or the people whom you are guiding are going to respect you. So this guru principle within us has to be like a great sage or a great seer who is above the normal mundane people and sees the things in a proper perspective and delivers the proper understanding of all this perspective he sees to his disciples, doesn't give them distorted or wrong ideas. Now, one may say that, Mother, how is it that the love we can express and also tell them the truth? You have to look after the benevolence, hitam. You have to look after the benevolence of your disciple. It may appear that he may not like what you are telling that person today, but a day will come when he will think, thank God your guru has corrected you and has put you on the right path. If the goal of the disciple is not to ascend, is just to be there for some sort of a purpose, then it's better not to have such disciples. Not to have anyone of this kind who are not there for their own ascent, but for other gains which are absolutely of no avail. this question arises sometimes, how to love. It's a very funny question, that we don't know how to love human beings. We can love our things, we can love our useless things, we can love some sort of a beautiful scenery because it gives us joy. We can love some nice restaurant because you can get good food there, or some sort of a thing which is of a very baser nature. But love for love's sake is this, that when you really love for love's sake, then you try to put or implant that love into somebody else. That you make another person as lovable as you are. So the whole system becomes different if you understand that we have to base all our progress, all our movements, all our behavior, all our understanding on love. Otherwise, your Guru principle is extremely weak, and after some time you will find you are just standing out of the shores of Sahaja Yoga. Anybody who is attached or biased and has conditionings cannot become a Guru. Cannot. Because even if he becomes so-called, all those things will be reflected in that person. Or say if he is very full of ego, thinks no end of himself and thinks that I am a great Guru, that ego also would be expressed. Supposing such a Guru talks too much, also find the disciple the same style. If he is a quiet type, you find the disciple the same style. So we reach a conclusion that first we must develop our own Guru principle. If we cannot develop that, it is no use doing any Guru Puja, because it is just temporary. It's not going to help you much unless and until you really decide that you are going to nourish and develop and establish your Guru principle. So today when you are worshipping me as the Guru, you must know that any amount of my talking, any amount of my giving you blessings or anything is not going to work out unless and until we really develop our own Guru principle and the depth. Because a Guru makes his disciple cross the Bhavasagara. He is like the boat who takes his disciples and crosses with love and with proper direction. That has to be with all of you. As it is, you are all realized souls. And as I have told you, you are all angels. But if you do not establish your Guru principle, you know of angels how they have fallen down and gone forever. So be careful. It's easy to be an angel, but difficult to maintain it. It is difficult to be the gods and goddesses, but easy to maintain it. So, all of you are here. I'm very happy to see that you have come to worship me as your Guru. And I would expect that my children are after my own image, that my image should be such that my children should feel that oneness with my image, and I should be a proud mother of so many children who have come from so many countries. May God bless you.